So today we're reviewing
The Nun. So, The Nun is another prequel in this Conjuring universe, which I think is one of the greatest horror universes going.
well, yeah,
Probably the greatest one. I mean,
all their movies, all their scary movies, just are
the only one that can compare is Insidious, but I think this one's is a notch above them, just because Insidious 1 and 2 is really good, but the rest after that were kind
and
of
the
a
third
drop
one's
off.
the third
They're not
one's
bad.
Not, the third one's not awful. Like, it's not like a bye-bye man.
The third and the
so.
fourth one aren't bad at all. I just think that this Conjuring one is just a better cohesive universe, in my opinion. But so about this movie is it's actually the earliest one. I actually have the years. I've looked at the years.
I'm not going to explain what it's about.
This one was in 1952, and it takes place a while before actually Annabelle creation. But this is basically a prequel talking about the nun from Conjuring 2, and like basically this is a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to say any of the spoilers, which would be pretty hard to talk about. But basically, it just kind of sets the stage from where her origins kind of take place at, and it's a pretty short story. I mean, it's just kind of the premise you see from you don't really see that from the trailer. So this would be really hard to do with non-spoilers. But I guess my initial thoughts were I really liked it a lot. Throughout the movie, I was feeling the setting was great for the whole time, so that was definitely a positive.
I thought it was good. I thought it was not as good as it's above. It's a good amount above Annabelle.
No, way above.
I mean,
way above.
But it's not. I don't think it comes like terribly close to the first Conjuring or the second Conjuring or Annabelle creation. But
it's if we had to rank it, I'd say it's Conjuring. For me, Conjuring 2, Conjuring right around the same spot. Then right below those two, Annabelle creation, and then I think slightly below. I'd say a little bit below Annabelle creation. I don't think it's that far below. And then the bottom one's Annabelle. But I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, for me, if a horror film is able to make me jump a few times and also mix in some really funny lines, I mean that's what you go to the movies for. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting.
You needed some moments like that.
Yeah, and there was really no. I'll get into my negatives and the spoilers because my only negatives in the film are basically spoiler stuff. There wasn't any that I can remember any cheap jump scares. I mean, they were all like. There wasn't like a cat or a squirrel jumping out of a tree. Like they were all like warranted jump scares. Like it wasn't
a cheap jump scare. Serves as
having a bunch of good jump scares is actually not a bad thing. It's good. I mean that's what a horror film's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's when it's the cheap jump scares that are like those are the ones I don't like and they make me mad and lose points to the film.
Like Poltergeist.
Yeah. So yes, the new Poltergeist.
Squirrel jumps out of the ceiling.
Yeah, that happens like 2 or 3 times in the film.
Yeah, the new Poltergeist, not the old one.
But the storyline, without getting into spoilers, is you can tell from the description of the film. So we're not spoiling anything. Is they send Sister Irene, which is Thaisa, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Farmiga, who's the sister of Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine in this universe.
Why they did that?
Which was very.
She was good.
She was good.
I mean, everyone was good.
Really, the cast is really small. There's only 3 really main characters in the film, which is the Sister Irene, the young, I don't know what you call nun or wanting to be nun person, and then there's Father Burke, you see him in the trailers, and someone who's not in the trailers at all, which I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, which I was really pleasantly surprised. Probably one of my favorite characters in the film was a character named Frenchie. Who he just brought us a kind of sense of like life to the film. The other 2 were kind of like their own like characters. I cared about him. I cared about each character really the whole time. Like some people are saying like you don't really care about the characters, but I feel like I don't really want to have a 20-minute backstory to like get into their characters. Like I saw enough. You see Sister Irene playing with kids and teaching kids, and you see she's actually really nice and stuff. Father Burke is kind of just you see some of his backstory actually, seeing what he did with well, that's a spoiler.
You do see backstory.
Yeah, so I don't really know. I always love when I hear people say like there's no backstory, but would you rather have this movie be 2.5 hours with the first hour being just their backstory. I don't think people want us to go to the film for that.
I don't know how you wouldn't care for these characters. It's not a spoiler. They're going into an area. You know,
someone from Collider,
in all these movies, they go into an area to try to solve these things that a lot of people don't do. And in these movies, they're put in scenarios. I don't know how you couldn't care about these characters. You're definitely rooting for them. You have to. They're the only people there. There's not like a huge war. There's just like single people that have to solve this.
So,
I definitely
cared about him. The storyline was not that complex. It got a little. I mean, I'm not expecting these movies to be 100% accurate to the real world. So I mean, I'm able to suspend disbelief a couple times. There's a couple of things that you'd be like, okay, that's a little lucky that they just kind of just took a leap of faith for this. But I mean, that's what you have to do in movies sometimes. And I just think that the storyline was good enough. The Nun was definitely creepy. They definitely kept that going from Conjuring 2. For me personally, there wasn't any shots that topped. There was one shot maybe that topped the hallway scene in Conjuring 2, which is just for me one of the scariest scenes I've seen of the Nun, just because that's just such a. You just see her standing in the hallway like that. It's just really scary. There's definitely one moment that's one of the most boss shots of a demon that once we get that footage, we'll be showing that a lot.
Well, I was just gonna say, one point of the movie, there was, I think, maybe too much going on. There's a couple moments where I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on here. There is some good scares. There's some good moments that actually aren't jump scares that are just like you see something.
Yeah, there was a lot. I was expecting to see none of that because people were saying it's just a jump scare fest. When there's a lot of scenes where, I know one in particular when she's in her bedroom, you see something in the background. It's just standing. Just seeing that shot.
There's actually a lot of scenes like that where you see stuff in the background. There's no noise. So I was happy to see that.
Those are the kind of shots that I like to see the most in horror films, just because I feel like those are the scariest ones. And obviously, there's some jump scares that are really scary, but there's also an element to this film that really is just. I don't care who you are. Everyone's afraid of being buried alive, and they really play that element a lot. Other than the negatives of the spoilers, for me, I thought that everything else worked for the most part. I think it definitely was filmed like a good Conjuring film. All the setting was great. The film, or what is it called? Cinematography is really good. The acting I thought was really good. There was no. I mean, the one actress is kind of young, but her character is supposed to be kind of a young, afraid kind of character. She's not supposed to have as much charisma as everyone else. Like the guy who we really liked, Frenchie, just felt like he really knew what he was doing out there.
Yeah.
Definitely delivered some great. Good. Yeah. So the acting was great. The cinematography was great. A lot of good scares. I never felt bored at all. So I don't know what Jeremy's talking about with that. I felt like there wasn't much time. There wasn't much downtime for the most part. I mean, I thought it was pretty fast paced. I was feeling. Let me get our scores.
Spoilers.
So I mean, I was feeling a 7 out of 10. No, at one point, probably about a little more than halfway through, I was feeling this is a 7 out of 10 for me. It's a way above average. It's not great, but it's right there in the middle. And then all of a sudden, when things started to pick up towards the end, it made me jump a few times. It made me laugh a couple of times.
And at the very end, a connection.
And then
which I kind of.
You already know it's connected to the universe. So
but how they do it is pretty.
The way they do it, we were starting to really. I was actually going to be really mad if they ended it what I was thinking they were going to do, but they didn't go that route. And the way they ended it really just put it over the top. And because of that ending, actually, it went from me being at a 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 because of that ending. I have to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow. This movie definitely has good atmosphere. It has some good creepy moments. There's a lot of creative. There's some creative things they do.
Yeah.
Here's my grade. I'd have to give it a 8 out of 10. Because, I mean...
Still pretty good.
It's above... I gave Annabelle a 5. And this, Annabelle was just not effective with any jump scares. Just nothing was effective. This was effective. And the jump scares were good. The atmosphere was good. There's a lot of creative stuff here. Annabelle, there's no creative stuff. There's a lot more creative stuff, so that's why I think it gets 3 points higher.
Besides the basement scene, it just felt like it was a sci-fi kind of horror film. This one does not feel like a sci-fi.
This feels like cheap at all.
This feels like a well-made film. Yeah, we definitely enjoyed the film for the most part. Like we said, we think it was below, just below Annabelle Creation, a little bit more below Conjurings, the two Conjurings, but it's way above for me at least. Annabelle, and I think it's way above for him too. So thanks for watching this non-spoiler review of The Nun, and we will see you guys in the spoilers section. Bye, guys.